Kanye West and Kyrie Irving could be linked to Operation Mockingbird. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Quadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Now, I just wanted to do a video on this from a website called www.wanttoknow.info, and here I noticed they had a link called Operation Mockingbird. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to read some of this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to read some of it, and then I'll explain to you in more detail what Operation Mockingbird is and why I believe that Kanye West and Kyrie Irving could be linked to Operation Mockingbird, and how Operation Mockingbird could also be a tool that is being used by the CIA to demonize Russia and other countries. So without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. Okay, it says chapter 7. Okay, that's the Roman numeral for 7. So it says Operation Mockingbird. About a third of the whole CIA budget went to media propaganda operations. That's why whenever you watch the United States media, what do you hear them talking about? You hear them talking about how, Putin is a terrorist, Putin is a madman, Russia's doing this, they're doing that, they're the cause of a global famine, this, that, fourth, and the other, right? So the media can also be a CIA operation. The CIA have ties to the media. And who owns the media? The small hats. Okay? The small hats over there in the land of Israel. The small hats own all the media. They own Hollywood. They own all the shows. They own the news media. I'm talking about the mainstream media. They own CNN. They own Fox News, Eyewitness News. They own your local news channels. They own all of that. These different commercials. These different talk shows. So they own the media, and the CIA have ties with these small hats. So if the United States ever wanted to demonize a country, all they would have to do is get in contact with the CIA, who have ties to the mass media, to demonize a country through what? Propaganda of their media. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
I don't quite understand. There's no guy in there for all the bills on the desk. I see a Creek Carrier trailer back there, so that might be my trailer. But I wonder where the bills are. Do you have a way to CB the guy or to call the guy? No? That's weird. Yeah. Or maybe the paperwork's on the trailer. I guess I could check that. Because in the office it said driver signed in 3 white copies. None of them had that.
Excuse me for that. I'm currently at work and some guy just randomly come in and ask me for directions. That's Satan, though, just trying to, distract me from bringing out this edification. But anyways, it says we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars a year just for that. It says close to $1 billion are being spent every year by the United States on secret propaganda. Now, originally, this propaganda started overseas. It started overseas, but then they started using it over here in America. And the example of that is 9/11. Okay, when those twin towers went down by demolition bombs, which was set up by the U.S. government, right? When those twin towers went down, what did the United States do? They got in contact with the CIA, and the CIA basically got in contact with the media, and basically the media was used to push the propaganda that the Arabs were responsible for those twin towers going down. And basically they set up crisis actors. They had some skilled technicians that was good at computers. They created computer graphic intelligent airplanes to make it look like they hit the building when really not a single airplane hit those buildings. Okay, those twin towers went down by demolition bombs. The same way that a skyscraper would go down by demolition, that's how the twin towers went down. So propaganda was used to demonize the Arabs, so the United States could be justified in going over there to bomb those Arabs while looking for Osama bin Laden, who was also working for the CIA, of whom they deemed a traitor, because Osama bin Laden knew too much. So they had to take him out. So that's what this devil does. They'll do some kind of attack upon their own country, and then they'll use the CIA to push propaganda on a particular group of people, so they can the U.S. government can justify themselves in taking action against that particular group of people. You see that? So now we scroll down here. Let's see. Because this also goes into actors. Actors. Yeah, right. If you believe it or not, a lot of these people that work for your news media agency, a lot of these people that work for your talk shows, they're all just actors who were hired to play their roles. Okay, it's going to tell you here. While the majority of Mockingbird operations were overseas, the goal was to have important, hard-hitting stories. That's what propaganda is. Propaganda is no more than stories made up by the CIA and then pushed through the media. And a matter of fact, check this out. If we scroll down here, right, it said the CIA went as far as to write scripts for Hollywood. You see that? They even wrote scripts for Hollywood. So how much more the mass media? How much more the mainstream media? So they're literally writing these scripts for these actors and these different news media agencies and these different talk shows. They're basically writing the scripts for what these people to say and for what them to do. But anyways, scrolling back up here, right? While the majority of Mockingbird operations were overseas, the goal was to have important, hard-hitting stories. Okay? Now, while Kanye West and what Kyrie Irving said is true, right? While what they said were true, because we are the true Hebrew Israelites, right? But now he is trying to control the narrative. That's why they set up that one female small hat in that one talk show. Basically talking about anti-Semitism and blase and And then they went as far as saying, Kanye and his army. You see how they trying to make us out to be some kind of carnal group? As if we're going to go to some small hat synagogues and start it. Come on, man. We're not those type of people. We are spiritual people. The Lord commanded us to be spiritual and harmless. Okay? In the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, what did Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, said? He said, "Be ye harmless as doves, be ye wise as serpents, and harmless as doves. I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves." Here it is. Yahushua listed two of the most peaceful animals on the planet, the dove and the sheep. And we are commanded to be harmless as doves and sheep. But here comes E with his propaganda trying to demonize us. Now there's a news article coming out talking about how a small hat synagogue got threatened. And that's more propaganda being pushed by the CIA through the mass media. So it says, while a majority of Mockingbird operations were overseas, the goal was to have important, hard-hitting stories to be circulated in the American press, which is the American news media. And that's why in the news media, every time they talk about Russia, they always got something bad to say about them. Okay, now check this out. Okay, another strategy was developing relationships with major media owners. See, that's what the CIA did. They developed relationships with major media owners. Okay, who were known and who are the owners of these major medias? The small hats, who were known to harbor right-wing views, which are not really right-wing views, they're left-wing views. Because every time they talk about something in the mass media, they'll put just a tiny little bit of truth in there, but then they'll feed you a whole bunch of lies and bullshit. Such as William Paley of CBS. Okay, CBS is another major media corporation, and then passing on information of journalists, actors, and screenwriters who harbored left-wing views. Information was also passed on to friendly congressmen such as Joseph McCarthy. These men and women would then be blacklisted from the industry. You see how they operate? Now they're trying to blacklist Russia. Lee J. Cobb, who was one such actor, that proves that they have actors amongst these major media corporations and these small media corporations. Alex Jones, at the end of the day, he's just an actor. Okay? Lee J. Cobb was one such actor who was blacklisted and recalled his experience. So now let's scroll down here, right? It says the CIA went as far as to write scripts. They wrote scripts for Hollywood. Come on, man. Now you know they're writing scripts for these major media companies. One interesting example is the funding of the movie version of Animal Farm in 1954, a book written just less than a decade earlier by George Orwell, which enjoyed large commercial success. The problem for the CIA was that Orwell was a socialist and his book attacked both capitalism and communism. So check this out. This is what the CIA did. To avoid this conflict, the CIA changed the ending. You see how they controlled the narrative? They changed the ending of the Hollywood version to portray capitalism in a more positive light. And that's what they're doing with this anti-Semitism thing. They're trying to control the narrative now. They're trying to make us look like the bad guys when we're really the good guys and they're the bad guys. So George Orwell, you know, he was a socialist and his book attacked capitalism. So what the CIA did was they controlled the narrative. They controlled the narrative and changed the ending of the movie to make capitalism look more positive in a light. To portray capitalism in a more positive light. So at the end of the day, Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, they could be being used under the Operation Mockingbird, so that Esau can use the CIA to use the media to control the narrative and make us out to look like extremists and terrorists when we're not. You see how that works? You see how they operate? So there's a reason why they're allowing, Kyrie Irving and Kanye West to go on public television or public on the internet and say that they're a Hebrew Israelite. There's a reason for that. Because they really want to target us. Let me see. Just real quick, let me go to Google and type this in. Okay. Just a moment. Okay, let's type in Bible. Let's see. They cannot rest except they have done mischief. KJV, type that in. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so check this out. This is Proverbs chapter 4 verse 16. It says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief." You see that? And you can line that up with Micah, right? Chapter 2 verse 1. Check this out. Just a moment. Micah chapter 2 verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds." Right? Now the scripture said that they do not rest except they have done mischief. You see that? So every time the so-called elites go to lay one of their red hairy asses down, they're premeditating on how to further trap, break down, and destroy the nation of Israel. And one of the ways and one of the ideas they came up with while they were meditating on these things is Operation Mockingbird, in which Operation Mockingbird has been used to misdirect people, to stir people in the wrong direction, to mislead people, to deceive people. A lot of people have been deceived and misled through the mass media. And it's all thanks to the CIA using writing scripts and creating propaganda to demonize particular groups of people. And now they're trying to push propaganda on Iran. Because some woman died in the custody of an officer. Now they're trying to make Iran look bad. You see what they're doing with these women down there, this, that, forth, and the other. It's like you're in everybody's Kool-Aid except your own. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it. And they really do practice it. The fact that Operation Mockingbird is still in effect even to this day means that they put it into practice, and when they saw that When they saw that it was successful, they continued to run with it. So when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. Right, because they're the ones in rulership. So they work mischief. Okay? Proverbs 4 verse 16. For they sleep not except they have done mischief. And Operation Mockingbird is a mischievous action. And their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. You see that? Rather if you fall spiritually or literally. Because how do you fall spiritually? Being misled, being fed the poison, the pseudoscience through this mass media propaganda, through these different talk shows that are set up by the government. You see? See, what scripture is that? The covering cast. Just real quick, before I get Isaiah 10, let's see. See, Bible, and the Lord shall destroy it. Beautiful. They actually saved it. So it is Isaiah 25. I just wanted to make sure. I ain't want to just go to Isaiah 25 and not find it. Isaiah chapter 25, verse 7. I mean, let me see if there's any more meat up from above. I'm going to give the Lord sheep as much meat as possible. Okay, so verse 7, Isaiah 25 and 7, it says, and he, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh, Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh being the true name of the Son, the Heavenly Father's Son. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast. What is a covering cast? As a matter of fact, let's go to the Blue Letter Bible and let's look up the word covering. Because when you cover something, that means you hide it. You know, just like when our nationality was beaten out of us during the time of slavery, and then, you know, they went from calling us niggers to calling us Negroes to calling us colored folks to calling us black to calling us African Americans. Those are all proverbs and bywords. Those are all covering casts. Those are all coverings that was cast upon our people to what? To hide us from our true identity. Okay? And now that they're trying to cast another covering over the masses of the people out there by demonizing Russia, by painting this narrative through their propaganda that you know, Russia's evil, they're doing this, they're calling a famine and causing rising gas prices. But behind the scenes, these small hat little rats who call themselves global elites, they're the ones responsible for rising gas prices, global famines, manipulation of the weather. Here it is, we're in the month of November and it's freaking warm outside. That's because the Earth's atmosphere is all messed up. That comes from geoengineering and the use of the HARP program by the U.S. government. Isaiah chapter 25, verse 7. So in order to spread out lies, you must first know the truth and then hide the truth. So these devils, you know, when something true that's happening overseas is true, and they know it to be true, they'll come up with a lie, and then they'll cast a covering over the people to mislead them. So let's see, Isaiah 25:7, and he, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all the people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Right. Because, you know, Esau started calling them Arabs. He started calling them East Indians. He started calling them Africans, which Africa really goes back to Lucio Scipio Africanus. There's no such thing as an African. The only way you could be an African is if you're a direct descent from Lucio Scipio Africanus. If you're one of Lucio Scipio Africanus' children, then you will be considered an African. Your last name will be Africa or African. So those people over there in Africa who are being called Africans, those are not Africans. Okay? For the most part, Ham is living over there. The Holy Scriptures calls them Ham. But Esau, you know, casting a covering over all the people, he called them Africans. Down there in China, he called them Chinese. You know, they called themselves white. There's no such thing as a white person. They called us black. There's no such thing as a black person. We are different shades of brown. Okay? You wanna see something black? Up here where my cursor's at, that's black. And we are not black. We are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Holy Scriptures speak of. And that's according to biblical prophecy and through faith that was given to us by the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So let's look up this word covering. Okay, it's lawat. It's lawat. That's the Hebrew word lawat. And down here, let's see what it says. Covering, envelope, right? Now, if you wanted to keep something confidential or secret and you wanted it mailed to somebody, what would you do? You would put it in the envelope so it could be mailed to that particular person. So these people have been enveloped in lies and deceits. And all that was done through what? Mass propaganda through the mainstream media done by the CIA and the small hats who have control of the media. So it says, and he, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all the people, and the veil that is spread over all the nations. Right, because everybody's nationality is in the Bible. The Arabs are Ishmael. They're not Arabs. They are known as Ishmael in the Bible. Okay? Ishmael is one of Abraham's sons. Okay? The Chinese people, they're not Chinese. They are known as Moab in the Holy Scriptures. The Japanese people, they're not Japanese. They're known as Ammon in the Holy Scriptures. And they are children of incest. Okay? And they have their mother, which is Lot's daughters, to thank for that. Okay? Then you got the Africans over there. They're not African. They're Hamites. Okay. Then you got the East Indians. They're not East Indians. And the word Indian means savage. So they're basically calling them East Savages. They're not East Indians. They're known as Elam in the scriptures. You got the Hawaiians, the Samoans. They're not Hawaiians. They're not Samoans. They are Japheth. Their line go back to Japheth. So you see what this devil did? He changed the names of everybody's race or nationality and basically said, nah, you're this, you're that. Just like you so-called white Americans. You're not a white American. According to the Holy Scriptures, you're an Edomite. Them small hats over there in the land of Israel. The Ish people. Okay, the people humping walls wearing small hats. Those are not the true chosen people of the Most High. Their line go back to Amalek. Amalek is one of Esau's grandsons. Okay? The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. You're not a Negro. You're not a Latino. You're not a Native Indian. You are a Hebrew Israelite. So the Lord is using Kanye West and Kyrie Irving to basically, remove that covering cast. Even though the Lord has been using, the apostles of great millstone, starting with our great elder teachers such as Elder Abba Bivens, King Masha, okay, High Priest Ariah, Elder Yaiqua, who taught our apostles that we see today, from Apostle Tahar to Apostle Gabar to Apostle Rakah to Apostle Ariamlab. You see? And those are our true leaders today. And through them, and through our elders, and through the brothers who follow the same teachings as the apostles of Great Millstone, through them, that the covering cast is being removed over all the people through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So that covering cast is being removed, and Esau, your propaganda is starting to fail you. Isaiah 10:1. Okay, let's have a look here. No, I meant the book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 1. In the modern day Assyrians is Esau. Okay? A prayer to overthrow the wicked. Okay? Psalms chapter 10 verse 1. Why standest thou afar off, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai? Right, because at one point the Lord turned his back on us, which was that falling away first. Spoke about in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. And during that falling away came what? The Renaissance period. And during the Renaissance period, all of the dark-skinned images of the apostles and the elders and the 12 disciples, all of the dark-skinned images of King David and Yahushua and King Solomon and all of our great notable kings and Moses and Noah and his sons, all those images were painted over. And during the time of slavery, our nationality was beaten out of us. But now the Lord is returning us back to our heritage to raise us up at the last days. And Lord's will, we be of the hopeful elect. Lord, if it be the Lord's will, I hope we are of the elect. It says, why standest afar off, O Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai? Why hidest thyself in times of trouble? The wicked, who's the wicked? Job chapter 9 verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay? Now, if the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, what does that mean? That means the wicked has control over the whole planet. Who has control over the whole planet today? The so-called elites do. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and all of their so-called elite families. These guys who call themselves global elites, these guys who call themselves banking elites. No, I say so-called because you're not a elite. The real elites are the real elites is Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and his elect men. Those are the true elites. Okay, so you Rothschilds and you Rockefellers, you ain't no elites. And I say that boldly. That's why I say so-called elites. Okay? So the wicked is the so-called elites. You know, these Rothschilds, these Rockefellers, these so-called global elites, these so-called banking elites. These are the wicked that have control over the whole world, which is also the fulfillment of Genesis, the 27th chapter, and I believe the 36th verse on down. Well, I'll just say the Genesis, the 27th chapter, where Esau got blessed with the fatness of the earth. So that's a fulfillment of Job 9 verse 24. So the wicked, who is the so-called elites, along with the rest of their nation of people, who are Edomites, okay, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. And who are the poor? The Israelites. Okay, now in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the Lord said that in the last days, the Israelites would be the head. The Israelites would be the tail, and the enemy would be the head. The head is at the top of the whole chain. The tail is at the bottom. So who's at the bottom? Presuming to biblical prophecy of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Because Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15 all the way down to 68 are all the curses that the true Israelites will be under in the last days. And we are under those curses. And a part of those curses is being at the bottom. A part of being at the bottom is being in the ghettos, the slums, the reservations, in which, by the way, the word ghetto means where the Jews dwell at. That's what the word ghetto means. Who's living in the ghettos? So-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. Okay? And the word Jew is short for Judah. Okay? And who come from the line of Judah? So-called Negroes. So Psalms chapter 10 verse 2. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices which they have imagined. Well, here's one of the devices in which they have imagined. Operation Mockingbird. This is one of the devices in which they have imagined. Operation Mockingbird, which was used to push which is still being used to push mass propaganda. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is not in all his thoughts. So these devils, they're not thinking about the Heavenly Father or his Son. They're thinking about how to destroy the Lord's people, which are the Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. His ways are always grievous, right? That mass propaganda is grievous. Because now you're going to have simpletons out there believing, oh shit, man, now we got to deal with Russia's evil. You know, and we need to go out there and protest against Russia because Russia's evil. Okay? A bunch of simpletons deceiving the masses of the simple, misleading them, just like how you misled them after 9/11. Put the blame on Arabs, and everybody believed the Arabs were responsible for those towers going down. And that happened through what? Operation Mockingbird, your mass propaganda. It says, thy judgments are far out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved. I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. And where does that cursing, deceit, and fraud come from? His mass media, through propaganda. You know, because when you call somebody evil, you cursing them out. You saying this dude is bad, stay away from him. So their mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Okay, fraud. Them small hats are a bunch of frauds. Talking about anti-Semitism, which the correct way of saying it is anti-Shemitism or anti-Shemitic. And how the hell can we be anti-Shemitic when we come from the line of Shem? Anyways, it says, under his tongue is mischief and vanity. That's exactly what that propaganda is. It is mischief and vanity. Okay? He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. Right. And he murdered the innocent through what? GMO foods, chemtrails, the water, the air, the poisoning of the air, the poisoning of the water, you know, the deception and misleading and lies through the mass media and propaganda. Okay? His eyes are privately set against the poor. And that's what this propaganda is for. His eyes is privately set against the Hebrew Israelites, the ones who's calling themselves Hebrew Israelites, going out on the highways and hedges in truth and sincerity, you know, cursing out this kingdom, you know, telling the heathens their judgments, starting with the top heathen on the planet, which are the Edomites, Amalek, you know, letting our people know that letting the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians know that they are the true Hebrew Israelites. So the so-called elites, their eyes are privately set against the poor. And that's why I believe they set up Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. So they can have an excuse to use the government, the U.S. government, to launch an attack on one of these small hat synagogues, so then they can put the blame on us and have an excuse to send their militarized police or martial law troops after us. But hey, like it says in Isaiah 59 verse 19, as soon as you do that, the Lord's going to lift up a standard to mess you devils up, man. Because you're not going to kill all of us. Some of us is going to be persecuted. We're going to stand before judges and kings for a testimony against the heathens. And then ultimately, some of us are going to be beheaded for not taking the charagma, the CHIP. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. Right? He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And how does he catch the poor? Through his mass media, through his propaganda. And that's how they're going to push the CHIP. They're going to make it seem super cool and convenient. And look, dude, you can do this and that. And Look, you can open up doors and all you gotta do is wave your hand and beep. Look, you're done. This is pretty cool, right? So he's gonna get a lot of our people to take that charagma, to the CHIP through mass propaganda. But the ones that's going to refuse to take it, he's going to come after them forcibly. And the Lord is still going to lift up a standard against them. Okay? It says, he croucheth and humbleth himself. Like it tells you in Psalms 55 verse 20. You know, he croucheth himself as a lion, as a humble lion, you know. But inwardly, he's thinking about but war is in his heart. He croucheth and humbleth himself, right? And a part of how he croucheth and humbleth himself is by putting some dude on there in a black punk ass suit, pushing the Kool-Aid, talking about, we feel so sorry for the black community and the Latino Native Indian community. It brings a tear to my eye to see that so many of them are sick. We highly advise that you please go to your nearby clinic and take the juicy fruit. You know, but inwardly, he's thinking about how to destroy you. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. This man's the fucking devil, man. Okay. Skipping down to verse 15. It says, break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. Right? That's Luke 8 verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be known, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Roughly paraphrasing. So the Lord is revealing this devil on all sides. And these small hats are panicking because they see our people waking up at a great level. Okay? The Lord, hey man, the Lord put a great chess move on you. You devils thought that you was going to use Kyrie Irving and Kanye West to basically demonize us, but it actually worked in our favor. Because now a lot of our people is waking up. They're looking for the source for where all that information came from. And ultimately, if they're of the elect, the Lord is going to lead them to GMS. The sincere men of GMS who are of the elect. So the hey, the Lord is breaking your fucking arm, man. Just like that one dude that was playing chess against that machine, man. That machine broke his finger. Woo! That machine said, nigga, hold up. Hold on, motherfucker, I'm more smarter than you. Bam, crack. Fucking broke that Edomite's finger. Hey, it's spiritual, man. Hey, the Lord is breaking your arm, Esau. And real soon he gonna break your leg, just like how Bruce Lee did Chuck Norris in that movie Enter the Dragon. Hey, the Lord gonna break your leg next to where it's gonna be impossible for you to fight. You gonna try to fight, but then your ass gonna fall to the ground and get choked out, like how Bruce Lee did Chuck Norris in that movie. Okay, the Lord Yahweh is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his hand. So I mean that's pretty much it, man. You know, with that I'm gonna say shalom. Is on to the next one.